I'm going to just jump right in. And so when Mr. Bender contacted me, he asked me to talk about the strategic edge. And so he shared a little bit. Really, it's like I looked at it as a strategic edge on life as you get through college and take your journey through into your careers and what you will do financially, how you will make decisions. And so all that starts for me with self-awareness, awareness. And as I began preparing this, Sean talked about, focusing on personal and professional life. And so I started listing them out, and I realized if you're authentic, everything that you are in your personal life and your professional life will mirror. And so these are just a few things that I looked at as you do really a self-evaluation of who you are. And so looking in your personal life and your professional life, what motivates you? What is your motivation to get up in the morning? What is your motivation to do the things that you love? What are you passionate about? Who are you in that area of motivation? And it's you who has to answer those questions. Looking at your strengths. What are your strengths? What kind of person are you that are you good with numbers? Are you creative? And so you can use those strengths as you move throughout life. You can allow your strengths to work for you. So you maximize on the strengths. And this is both in your personal life and your professional life. In your personal life, it could be caring. It could be listening. It could be, empathy, having a feeling for empathy. And so that will carry over into your professional life if you're caring, if you're a good listener. And those things lead to leadership. What are your beliefs? What are those? What do you feel on the inside, which are the things that you believe in that you know will take you to that next place in life? And how are those beliefs? What are the positive and negative things about those beliefs that may carry over into your workplace? So really do a self-awareness evaluation of who you are. And then finally, I listed perception. And so let me tell you something about perception. How people see you is real. How people see you is who they think you are. And so you have control of that. Perception is very important to self-awareness because you're paying attention to how you want people to see you. And so I learned from someone that you can train people how you want to be seen. And what you have to do is you think of an adjective, let's say. You think of an adjective, let's say you want to be tough. Or you want to come across, for me, I would say professional. Let's say that. And so you do whatever it is. Just think of for your self-awareness. And these are things that I want you to do over time. Think of 3 adjectives that describe who you are. And you take one and you act that way for 90 days straight. You're consistent. So you want to be looked at as professional. You dress professional. You talk professional. You walk professional. You respond to people. You make calls. You do everything that you show up on time. You do everything to live up to whatever that is. It could be creative. If you want to be seen as a creative person, you do everything creative. And you practice that consistently for 90 days. And at that point, that is how people see you. But you have to be aware of what you're doing. You have to be aware of how you're being looked at. Sometimes, honestly, you can be perceived by people and you say to yourself, really? Like, I'm like that? And you may not be aware of it. And you may not be aware that that's what you're sending. So, self-awareness and these suggestions ultimately go to authenticity. And I think being authentic in your personal life and your professional life is your strategic edge. There is no one else that can be you like you can be. You have the best edge on that. And so be you, be uniquely you in everything you do. And that will take you to the next step. And so as you prepare and strategize for success in life, the things to focus on are planning, prioritizing, and budgeting. And so all of this is focused on your financial planning as you prepare in life. And so that's what I'm focusing on. So we go to the next one. With planning, you want to make sure that you set goals. And I will take all of this back to self-awareness. So when you evaluate your goals and you set goals for life, and these are financial goals, like, it could be saving for something. And we're talking about preparing for life. So you set financial goals because you want to make sure that you can pay your rent, you can pay your mortgage, you can pay your car note, whatever it is your goals are. And it may not just be to pay bills. It may be that you're saving for something. It may be that you're building your own business, whatever your goals are. So what you want to do in this process is evaluate why you've chosen the goals that you've chosen. And that's back to self-awareness. Is it because of you want to do it the way your parents did it? Or is it because you don't want to do it the way your parents did it? And so everything you do goes back to being aware of you and who you are. Really set goals, and particularly financial goals, that speak to your heart, and know what's important to you. And so, have you guys heard of SMART goals before? I'm sure everybody, that's pretty popular now. I would say stick with that. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. And so that it gets us to time management. As you're setting goals, so time management, it works in your financial life and your personal life. I think you guys said it was one of your norms,
Yes.
Being on time. That really goes back to perception. That goes back to self-awareness. I know what it has to take for me to be on time. I know what I have to do. So we have to think about those things that, how we are as a person. So pay attention to that. It may seem small, but it does matter. And then it's how people perceive you. Do you want to be perceived as being late? I mean, if you say, let's say you've selected that adjective as professional, do you want to be late? No. So you set goals, but then at the same time, when it comes to time management, not just it involves your calendar and scheduling things and getting things in. For you guys, it's papers, it's work, it's a lot. So make sure that sometimes you have to write it down. And so it also goes back to the things that you have to pay too. Making sure you do things in a timely manner, and we'll get to those. And so as you set your goals, as you manage your time, you want to make sure that you go back and you continue to follow up and follow through on what you planned. And then we go to prioritizing. So we have planning, prioritizing, and budgeting. Go one more over on. Yeah, prioritizing. They have to go back. So as you set your goals and you prioritize, you want to identify what's important to you, particularly financial goals. Is it important? Do you have to, do you have to pay for something at school? Is it books? Is it a program? Is it tuition? Is it rent? Do you want to get new boots or a new jacket for homecoming? I'm not saying you can't get those boots or jacket. I'm just saying you have to prioritize what's important to you. Healthy money management is not really about the dollars that you make. It's about how you spend those dollars. And that making a decision and making a list, really making a decision is about deciding and listing out what's important to you in life. And so